Welcome to the motherfucking lady. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Former champion Chantel Cameron posted this caption to her social media that reads, "Great phone call with Nikisa Badarian and Fitz Zanto. Fight date and location locked in. Exciting times. Life is good." The chapter continues. "Can't wait to announce my fight news." Chantel Cameron has fought under Cyclone Promotions, MTK, Matchroom, Queensbury briefly, now MVP. She's been trained by Shane McGuigan, Jamie Moore, Nigel Travis. The one other guy after them, I can't remember his name. Left him, she's with a new guy now. Can't remember his name either. And with Chantel Cameron having already walked away from what is arguably the best fight to make at 140 pounds, the fight with her old buddy Sandy Ryan, I can't conjure who it is she's about to fight and why any of us should be excited. Chantel Cameron spent so much time pursuing a Katie Taylor fight, then a Taylor rematch, then a Taylor trilogy. It's like her whole career was centered around sharing the ring with Katie Taylor, and she ain't got no time for nobody else, because upon being ordered to defend the title against Sandy, she forfeited the title. The Sandy Ryan fight right now is arguably the very best fight to make at the weight, short of the Taylor trilogy, which I don't think is going to happen. Nope. Sandy Ryan fight is the runner-up, and we know that Sandy's got a mean streak when she fights. So does Chantel. If you put them both in the ring with each other, given their history, all their bad blood, it makes for fireworks. So it would seem that Chantel Cameron has found a dance partner. It's not Sandy Ryan. Sandy's going to be fighting Mexico's own Carla Zamora very soon in defense of the green and gold belt. Who's Chantel fighting? I don't know. Or at what weight. If we're talking about 140 pounds, the best fight to make is the Sandy Ryan fight. If we're talking about 147, she can pursue a fight with Lauren Price. She can pursue a fight with Michaela Mayer. Those are the best fights to make at those weights. Given how many different promoters have promoted Chantel Cameron over the years, that she's not a more well-known fighter or well-liked. Yeah, some people don't like her for various reasons. The point is, Chantel Cameron has been around enough and been around long enough that she ought to be more well-known, just as well-known as an Alicia Baumgartner, just as well-known as a Michaela Mayer, and she's not. Now, maybe it's because she doesn't have much social media presence. It can't be because she wasn't in with the right people. She's already been promoted by the two biggest promoters in all of UK boxing, Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn Matchroom, which is really more world boxing. Now she's being promoted by MVP, who's fast become the flagship promoter for women boxers all around the world. And we have to see if MVP can do better than they did to make Chantel Cameron known, to make her a household name. She's got the skills. She's got the resume. She's fought the fights. She's got the accolades. But for some reason, she's just not popular. So is it a fighter that of such ability is being rated on the premise of their persona and their online footprint? Unfair is not the word I would use. People like what they like for whatever reason they like it. You can't castigate them for not liking Chantel more. Ultimately, she's one of the most skilled fighters in the sport right now. She's just not that popular, and apparently she's got some fight news coming down the pipeline. We know who she's not fighting, so let's find out who she is. Men's lightweight news, the ongoing story involving WBA champion Gervonta Davis arrest warrant that reveals chilling details of his alleged treatment of said woman. Law enforcement documents, which led to an arrest warrant for WBA lightweight champion Gervonta Davis Wednesday, describe his alleged abusive treatment of a woman who sustained physical injuries before fleeing his attempt to abduct her. Baltimore's Davis, 31, is being sought by police in Miami Gardens, Florida. It was announced at a news conference Wednesday. It's a hunt that imperils not only the WBA lightweight champion's freedom, but whether he will fight again anytime soon. On social media, there were reports yesterday circulating that he had been apprehended, that he turned himself in. Except that those reports turned out to be not true, so that essentially means that every moment that he doesn't turn himself in while there's a warrant out for his arrest, he's on the lam. He's a fugitive. The documents reviewed by Boxing Scene show that Davis is facing counts of battery, false imprisonment, and attempted kidnapping for his alleged October 27th abuse of the woman who has already sued the unbeaten three-weight world champion for physically injuring and threatening her after entering her workplace around 4:15 a.m. The victim stated that the subject, Gervonta Davis, grabbed her by the hair with one hand and grabbed her by the throat with the other. Miami Gardens police detective Gary Florencio told Miami-Dade County Judge Andrea R. Wolfson last week. She further stated that Davis escorted her down the stairway and towards the VIP parking garage while maintaining his grip on her head and neck. During the incident, Davis allegedly stated, "You think that I would not find you."
If only he had that same kind of energy for Vasyl Lomachenko or Shakur Stevenson. You know, the other boxers that were at his weight.
The woman whose name was redacted in documents reviewed by Boxing Scene told police she's known Davis since 2022 and was in a relationship with him for 5 months. She stated the relationship ended 1 month prior to the incident. Judge Wolfson wrote in the statement of facts in support of the arrest warrant, she subsequently blocked all forms of communication with him. She advised there is a history of unreported domestic violence between them. She stated she sustained minor injuries, including bruising to her left arm from when Davis grabbed her, which was visible at the time of the report. She confirmed she sought medical attention for said injuries. Police said they photographed the woman's injuries during the incident. Police said the woman tried to calm Davis down, but he kept asking her who she thought she was, ignoring him. Davis told the woman she was leaving him as he did not care what she had to say. After she previously ended the relationship, Davis was in trouble earlier this year in another domestic violence episode that led to the scrapping of his Plant Summer rematch against Washington's Lamont Roach Jr., who fought Davis to a draw March 1st at New York's Barclays Center. As they neared the parking garage, Davis told the woman he was taking her with him. She told police, and she warned him there were cameras in the garage, police said. When Davis let her go to retrieve his vehicle, the woman took this opportunity to run back inside and tell her manager what had happened, according to the arrest warrant statement.
I often poke fun at Davis being a bozo, being a fucking idiot. But all jokes aside, meaning every word of it when I say that, he's not cognizant enough of his own actions to be a member of society. How could he be? You just threw away a $40 million opportunity and to do something you shouldn't have been doing anyway. Something you've already gotten in trouble for numerous times, but you don't learn your lesson because you don't learn.
You can't. You are greatly lacking the mental faculties to refrain from such behaviors that are in fact against the law, that make you a danger to others. He cannot distinguish right from wrong. Morality does not even come into it for somebody like him and those who support him.
But even for someone derelict of virtue, surely common sense could kick in that you're on the eve of making $40 million, which will be enough for you to retire on. That should be enough for you to just stay home and keep your hands to yourself. And even that,
Not even.
didn't come into it.
She also showed me text messages she had received in the past from Davis, threatening her with death. Detective Florencio informed the judge. Police said the garage video obtained on November 3rd corroborated the details in the woman's statement. In the videos, police can see Davis approach her and grab her by the hair. Davis is seen pushing and forcing the woman down the stairs. One clip shows Davis grabbing the alleged victim's hoodie and pulling her in the direction he wants her to go. In another clip, Davis holds the woman by the back of the neck, leading her through an empty part of the club. The final video shows the woman is able to run away, and it's a good thing she did. Because just imagine if Gervonta would have had his way and he would have stuffed her into that car and drove off. What was he going to do to her?
Bear in mind, he's driving in a fit of rage at 4:15 in the morning to the workplace of someone he's no longer in a relationship with. You two have nothing to talk about.
3 possible witnesses were observed on the video, police said. One reported witnessing a prior incident when Davis grabbed the alleged victim by the neck at a club in Miami Beach. Detective Florencio said there is sufficient probable cause to arrest Davis because he used force to abduct the woman and in the process battered her. Davis did not release the woman, and his intent was to make her leave the location with him against her will. Davis hasn't fought since the March draw with Lamont Roach, as contenders and their handlers await a decision from his promoter, PBC, and the WBA regarding his status.
Call me crazy, fellas, but I think the WBA title and what happens to it is the last thing on the Butterball's mind. Multiple attempts by Boxing Scene to reach PBC officials Wednesday were unsuccessful. Promoter Oscar De La Hoya, who represents the WBA's top-ranked contender, Floyd Escofield Jr., said it's time for the WBA to strip Gervonta of the belt. I really do hope and wish Gervonta gets his act together, because as a fighter, he is very talented, and I admire him inside the ring, De La Hoya told Boxing Scene. But it is now time for the WBA to do the right thing and position Floyd Schofield for the world title.
Always the opportunist. Oscar's not wrong, though. There's no real reason to allow Gervonta Davis, given what he's facing, to hang on to that title any further. You don't need to be Perry Mason or Matlock to see that his goose is cooked. Legally?
Who the fuck is Perry Mason?
I guess my age is showing, and for me, it really is just a question of how long will they give Gervonta Davis, because I don't think he's going to wriggle his way out of this one. Not this time. Not with the CCTV footage corroborating the victim's statements, and not with Gervonta Davis's previous history.
He was serving 3 years probation. He was already skating on thin ice.
Over the hit-and-run incident from a few years ago where he was operating a vehicle without a license. He has a pattern of doing things he's not supposed to be doing, which speaks to what I already said. This guy lacks the cognitive function to be a productive member of society, no matter how much you like the way that he boxes.
And I don't think he's nothing special, by the way. I think he's the byproduct of clever matchmaking, and that's it.
But even if you're a fan of his brand of pugilism, he's done nothing so remarkable in the sport that would exempt him from judgment. He dug himself into this hole, and what I think this heralds is the end of his boxing career. I don't know how long they're gonna give him.
5 years, maybe? Maybe 10, given his previous history that he is on probation?
I don't know. I don't presume to be an expert, but I do think he's gonna see some time, and whatever time he sees, it'll be enough that it ends his boxing career, whatever years he had left to give.
It's done.
At the turn of the year last year, Gervonta Davis started it off by saying that he wanted last year to be his final year in the sport of boxing. It would seem that he's kept that promise.
Didn't exactly end the way that he wanted it to, though, all the same. It looks like that's going to be his final year in the sport. Now, I don't know if by the time that this video is uploaded, Gervonta Davis will have either turned himself in or been apprehended, because every moment that this warrant for his arrest is out and he doesn't turn himself in, he's on the lam and he's a fugitive. He's been avoiding detection for weeks.
We talked about it here on the channel weeks ago, that they were trying to get in contact with him to serve him his papers to move this process along so it could go from a civil case to a criminal case.
Given its egregious nature.
It's not just a civil dispute between two citizens. Gervonta Davis did, in fact, break the law. But because they couldn't get in contact with him for a number of weeks, they didn't know where to find him, didn't know where to reach him. He was stalling out that process until, I guess, the guys in Miami just said, fuck it, we've got enough that we can file a warrant for his arrest.
So here we are.
And it really is just more of the same. At some point, it has to stop. You've got to put this guy away before he actually does kidnap someone, before he actually does drive off with some woman in a car to do God knows what.
Lock him up.
Elsewhere in the world of boxing, Ben Shalom criticizes Eddie Hearn over Matias versus Smith. Ben Shalom has claimed that Dalton Smith was let down badly by Eddie Hearn after Matchroom failed to win the purse bid for Smith's fight with Subriel Matias, a fight that Smith ultimately won to become WBC World Champion. Matchroom bid $1.7 million, but was outbid by Fresh Productions, who promotes Matias, by $1.9 million.
I touched on this on the afternoon boxing talks, and for those who missed it, Ben Shalom doesn't know the ball from the bounce, because this is a picture-perfect scenario for Matchroom. Perfect.
And this is just Ben Shalom trying to spin a positive into a negative, looking for something negative to say, because when you think about it, Dalton Smith versus Subriel Matias is not a fight you're supposed to break the bank over. Let's start there.
It's a good fight for the hardcores, but it's not a fight you're supposed to throw a fuck ton of money at. It's just not. Least of all when Subriel Matias was the champion going in. In a purse bid situation, the splits are assigned. The lion's share goes to the champion, which per WBC rules could be anywhere in between 70-30 to 75-25. Thus, if you're Eddie Hearn, why would you put up a fuck ton of money anyway if most of it is going to go to Matias? It's not even going to go to your fighter.
But you know, Fresh Productions beats them out at the purse bid, not even by very much. They get the rights to the fight. They stage it.
Dalton wins it.
And it all goes down at no expense to Matchroom. That Matchroom didn't have to spend any of their own money to get their hands on that WBC title. So I'd say they came out great.
Couldn't have worked out better.
Now, the reason Benny Boy is shading Eddie and Dalton is he's got to think up something negative to say due to his rivalry with Eddie and his fighter Adam Azim's rivalry with Dalton Smith. Those two unbeaten Brits have been climbing the ranks parallel to each other, but Dalton Smith now seems light years ahead of Adam Azim.
The rivalry between them still exists. Even if they're in somewhat different places in their career, there still is mounting pressure for them to fight. Ben doesn't like that. Ben doesn't want to deal with that. So Ben has got to think of something negative to say, trying to spin a positive into a negative.
Claiming that Eddie Hearn let Dalton Smith down? I don't think Dalton Smith feels that way, but I wonder how Lauren Price feels. Your Olympic gold medalist in the women's welterweight division that you only got a grand total of one fight all of last year, and that fight...
That was almost a year ago.
While you harp about Eddie Hearn letting Dalton Smith down, I wonder how she feels. I wonder if she's let down. And what about Karis Ardingstall? Unbeaten Karis Ardingstall. What is she up to? What do you have planned for her?
I wonder if she feels let down.
Carolyn Dubois must have, since she decided to jump ship, leaving you for MVP. Ben Whitaker must have, since he decided to leave you for Matchroom. You want to talk about being let down?
I think that Sky Sports was let down when they realized you're no Eddie Hearn. You're no substitute for Matchroom, and you can't fill those shoes. That assignment is too big for you.
While we're on the subject of letting people down, so maybe it's a little bit too easy to point out Ben Shalom's failures, and given who he had to compete with, maybe he was always doomed to fail because he never had the bodies to compete with both Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn. But that doesn't make what I said any less true. That if you're gonna talk about letting people down, well, you're letting a good number of fighters down that would likely be doing a lot better if they were promoted by somebody else.